up, guys? How you guys doing? Good to see ya. It came in under the wire. Very, very happy. Very happy this came on right before I had to leave up to Cleveland and get to chill out with you guys. I'm just getting a small refreshment. And I'm going to chill out and watch some of this with you. What are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? It's good to see the fam here. DY, Mac, Chris, Zen. What's going on? Good to see you, Mac. Haven't seen you in a while, I don't think. Fox, how you doing, dude? Good to see you, man. So we're going to be watching some Star Citizen calling all devs about some animals, yo. I mean, this is exciting. This is exactly why I've been very hyped lately. It's like things starting to come back out. Things starting to be like pop, coming back alive. Let me turn the music off here. Woo, bow. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's go check this out here. Let's see what we got, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Let's right. I was just about to leave too.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Calling All Devs. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Now, Calling All Devs is where we take questions from you, the Star Citizen community, and pose them directly to our developers. And this episode, one of our most voted up questions was about, well, a very common question we've had for quite a while about fauna, about the non-sentient or non-humanoid life forms that will populate the Star Citizen universe. And so we thought we would go where most things start, with design, and our very own Mr. Todd.
I'm very excited
Todd,
to see what's in store, like the official
Hey,
art.
buddy. Doing well?
I like the...
Props to Todd, by the way. We were giving him tons of props. Yesterday's video on Inside Star Citizen, he's very real. He was very down to earth, and I dig that. He wasn't trying to paint some like rosy picture. Todd was just like straightforward, no BS. Totally dug that. I love that approach.
The hair.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have more courage than I did. I didn't shave. I'm going to let mine go and see just how crazy it is.
Hey, Zell, welcome to the
before we
stream,
get back
dude.
in the studio.
Well, I went for the mohawk last week, and then now it's down to this, and then it'll grow out from here.
All right. So we're here to talk about the non-humanoid life forms that'll populate the Star Citizen universe. Break it down for us. What types are we looking at developing for Star Citizen?
So we break it down into 3 different types. There would be insects, or kind of just VFX that play around trees or things to give it life in that area. Then there would be Boids, which are like small creatures like a frog or a snake or, a rat, whatever we'd kind of consider to be appropriate for our universe. And then
like those floating things we saw at Citizen Con a couple years ago.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just like what we had in Lorville.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Missed you too, Zell. Good to see you, dude.
And then from there would be much bigger creatures, like basically herds or apex predators or sandworms kind of thing.
All the way up to sandworms.
Don't even get me started on sandworms, yo. Don't.
Where do we start with? Where are we starting with the non-humanoid life forms? I mean, we saw the sandworm, I guess, during another Citizen Con
4 years ago.
What are we thinking, without committing to it right now? But what are we thinking is our first non-humanoid creature we're going to see in Star Citizen?
So we're going to be working on the space cow, just to work out the new rig, and so obviously it's a 4-legged creature. So from there, we're just working on a new rig and basically seeing how that will work, and any sort of alignment issues that we might have on the planet, versus IK, so on and so forth. And then also building usables associated with it, so it's drinking, it's water holes, or whatever.
Hey, Raspy, welcome to the stream, man.
And then from there, we'll be the next big one would be the space whale that we'll look into.
So you're confirming space whales?
Of course.
Man, I fought.
Who doesn't like space whales?
I fought against space whales. I lost. No, space whales are great. That's exciting. You ready to tell us where those will appear?
In Crusader.
There we go. Confirmation. Now that's smart. Now that's Smart. Okay, I have more hope and faith for the whales because we were talking about that. We didn't want to see them out in space. We wanted to see them in gas planets. Boom, in Crusader. Okay, that's a victory. That's a score. That's a positive. If that's a very big positive. Very happy to hear that.
Yeah, as far as I know, they are native to Crusader.
What's up, Tech? Welcome to the stream,
right, well,
dude.
Maybe we'll put a call into native. We'll call Dave Haddock and see if we can't find out more. Okay. Todd, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go.
All right, take care, Jared.
All right, man. Take care. Bye.
That was a nice.
Now we're going to go to narrative director.
That was a nice little piece of information right there. Space whales are confirmed for gas planets. I dig it. It reminds me of that episode of Lost in Space where they're flying around in that little cargo, that little repair bot, and they see the space whale fly past them.
Totally Dave Haddock and find out if the space
What's up, Arcane?
Space cow, or if it has a different name. Dave, how you doing, man?
I'm okay, Jared. I just would like to start off by saying that I am in color under duress. That I do not appreciate this.
I appreciate it. If you don't know, we won't get into it. But Dave does web conversations in black and white. He's a very noir person. It's probably due to the Seven Samurai poster behind you. I know, it's nice.
And I'm a big Max von Sydow fan. So
who isn't? Who isn't?
They instructed that it has to be in color.
We're talking fauna on today's show. We just got done talking to Todd. He talked to us a little bit about stuff. He mentioned that we tend to start with space cows, and I'm thinking that there's probably more information about space cows. I'm hoping it has another name. What can you tell us about space cows?
No, that's the in-lore name. It's just forever now going to be known as space cow.
Oh, what? Look at this thing. Whoa! That's a lot of udders. That's a lot of space cow milk.
From here to perpetuity.
What?
No, we definitely
look at this thing
very, very quickly to make sure that it was not known as space cow because those things tend to stick, obviously.
What?
But yeah, I mean,
that's
we're
insane looking.
Razor.
Kazi?
Kazi, yeah.
For all you citizen farmers out there.
On Terra, where basically it was sort of originated, so it's it's basically kind of a pack herd animal type
That's
thing.
insane.
I can read you the description if you want.
Yeah.
These large warm-blooded herd animals were originally discovered on the vast plains of Kazi on Terra, most notable for their unusual method of carrying their young. The Kazi grazer has become one of the standard seed animals and can be commonly found on most terraformed planets in the UEE. Aside from using their eggs for cooking, the grazers are also used for their meat and in more remote sections of space, tanning their skins for heavy winter clothes.
All right, so there's a little I want to unpack there.
So the animal is a native of Terra, which we've done information, which we posted information on Terra. But wow, a Terran space cow.
Even though they're indigenous to Terra, it sounds like we're going to see
pretty
them
cool
on
art
other
on that. Actually,
planets.
I dig it.
Until Terra
the art was really nice on that.
Yeah,
the terraforming.
Yeah, I mean, sort of the idea. I mean, it was one of
the udders, like all those udders. That's ridiculous.
Kind of bake into the terraforming thing to kind of save us some trouble in the long run. Was obviously we had the Garen 2 incident that kicked off the downfall of the Messers, but the idea being that like terraforming kind of wipes out all the life on a planet, and so they reseed it once they're done with it.
Right.
In the hopes that basically that would mean that we didn't have to come up with like entirely unique biomes for every single planet in the game, that we could have we have naturally occurring ones, which would be like Terra is naturally occurring. We didn't terraform it so we could have its own animals, but that these animals would be kind of like
that looks like genetically engineered.
As people are settling on them.
Like that space cow looked genetically engineered for the maximum amount of milk that you could get out of it.
And
blue milk, by the way, blue milk.
So we could have basically kind of reuse assets, and we could kind of have a
speculation on the
panoply of animals and plants too.
I love my space cow milk.
So
filled with vitamin X.
And the second thing was eggs.
Lots of vitamin X. Eggs.
Yeah, I mean they. I'll save that. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but yeah, just say that they have an interesting way of transporting their young. That get later.
All right, and then we also talked about space whales. Do we have a name for space whales yet? And apparently they're going into game.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing.
I wonder what version we're going with.
We don't have a name for them yet.
Or all versions,
still
maybe.
Kind of waiting on kind of seeing them, I think, before we kind of dive into it. But yeah, the idea is that they are going to be indigenous to Crusader,
Good.
and not for like at launch indigenous, but like down the road indigenous.
Oh, those were eggs?
But
oh my goodness. So those weren't udders at all. So sir around in the chat's like, dude, those are not udders. Those are actually eggs on that space cow. That is insane, dude. That's insane.
But yeah, they sort of exist within the
I
clouds,
missed that. Sorry.
the deep, kind of highly dense parts of the planet, and then but will kind of like basically like breach every so often. So they'll come up to the surface.
That's so cool. Good. The whales are going to be
hopefully
breaching Crusader. That is so cool.
I mean, one of the things we're talking about, and I really hope we can pull it off, because we've been talking about this idea about tour guides, because obviously tourism factors very heavily into Orison, but the idea that there could be basically like whale tours, space whale tours, where they basically go out and kind of like look for breaching space whales.
That is so cool.
And yeah, and also the idea basically with a lot of like the sort of harvestable stuff that the PU.
Dude, I want a space whaler ship. Make a space whaler ship, please. I want to go hunting for some whales on Crusader in a whaling type ship. Please design one. I don't know how, like, Crusader's really big. How many whales? I'm imagining you could put quite a few whales on it. Like, how cool would that be? Like a space whaling ship.
You were starting to implement now with like, plants and materials and stuff like that.
So happy they put it on Crusader also, like, and not just floating around in space. So happy about that.
The name and the history and stuff is figuring out kind of how we can incorporate them into gameplay. Is there stuff that you can collect off of them? That's what I talked about in the Kazi Grazer. Like, you can harvest their eggs or harvest their skin, stuff like that. But like, are there gameplay opportunities for the space whale? Like, barnacle, getting barnacles off of it, stuff like that, to make it more fun and get players an opportunity to get really up close to these things.
All right, I was afraid you were going for whaling there for a second. I was.
Oh, come on!
But no, you're talking about being able to like land on them and maybe.
Come on, that would be so cool. What's wrong with that, Jared? I know he was against space whales from the very start of this. We watched it here when they originally conceived it. I kind of was a little bit too, but after hearing this information, that makes me feel a little bit more positive about what's going on. Thank you, Anarchy. What's up, Anarchy? Putting the special sauce down on the wonderful stream here with the fam. If you guys aren't here live, I stream every once in a while here on YouTube. We streamed on Twitch today. We had a great time playing 3.9 this whole week. We've been having a great time.
Collectible stuff off of their surface.
The idea that they're going into like dense parts, and they come up and they brought stuff with them, and that you kind of, it's a race against time to kind of harvest stuff off of them if you can.
No wannabe Ahabs here.
No.
Right.
It's a very
come on.
Reddit.
It is. I was, never mind. I was going to go somewhere else with that. All right. You mentioned when you see the space whales, we've shown a couple of potential concepts on Inside Star Citizen, but we haven't locked down the final design. So
right.
I think we'll check in with Chance and see if there's any updates to the artwork. So Dave, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for fleshing this out, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right, thank you so much, Dave. Now we're moving on to someone who can talk to us a little bit about how these things are actually created.
Very fast. I like the way they got the show going today.
Chance,
I like
how you
this.
doing, man?
Doing well. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're talking space cows and space whales here. Where do we start when we create these things? How do you make a cow that's...
I like how Jared's commentating it. We're talking space cows and space whales here. Break it down for us, Chance.
Still a cow, but sci-fi. Take us through your process.
Great question. Obviously, when you're making humans, you know what they're supposed to look like, right? And clearly, that's a pretty
Hammer, welcome to the stream, dude.
Make them look as photorealistic as we can. We have actors to go on and stuff. Now, once you start talking about creatures, then it's kind of a wide open thing, right? Obviously, we're not on Earth. So they could be really weird looking. Nobody knows what
the weirder
what these
the better
might look like. But one of the challenges though is that you want some ability for the player to understand what they might do, right? And so it's kind of why you start with just archetypes of things you might think of, on Earth, whether it be a cow or a bear, and not necessarily just in visuals, but also in behaviors, And
Right.
so if I see something as a player out on, I'm like wondering, is that thing going to eat me, or am I?
You want the animals to look very similar to the planets, or have an ecology. Like, you want them to have a biology that's very similar to the environment that they're living on. For instance, we saw the moons of Microtech the other day, and I thought to myself, wow, like, how great would it be if we saw something at Cleo's liquid ocean there, like floating around. Or in Euterpe, it was like frozen tundra. When we went to Euterpe, we had a blast. We were like, wow, this is insane how cool this looks. To have some type of snow animal kind of ravaging the area so that when you land, there's some type of threat. You're landing down, you're getting on the tundra, all of a sudden, like, there's like some large kind of snow beast like going around. It's like, I'm not getting out of my ship. Something of that nature, man. Like the moon that was really freaky, that looked from Alien. I can't think of the name of it. And that was like the first moon closest to Microtech. Like, having something freaky there, that would be fantastic. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, bro, for that financial support. I love you, man. Thank you for that. That helps out big.
Am I okay to walk by it, and that's where we really have to start, and you just got to keep that balance, because we don't want to make something too Earth-like. It's just got to be,
Chris.
A little on the boring side.
Mm.
But I think it's something that many artists love to get into making creatures, because the nice thing is you've got so much freedom. What's a space cow look like? I don't know. I've never seen one before. So go ahead and make it something cool, and it's so really it's the fun for us. It is most of the artists are very, very excited to get more creatures into the universe, and just the idea of being able to land on a moon or a planet and it be teeming with life. That's a very exciting thing. We haven't got to see yet, and I think that
yeah, we need to populate some of these moons and
I
planets.
can't wait to
yeah,
get into.
we need to do it.
And for the space whale, which we've learned is going to populate the gas giant of Crusader. We've seen 3 potential concepts already. Take us through that process.
There we go.
Yeah, that one's a little earlier on than a space cow, just an initial concept phase, but that's a very
which means they haven't worked on it much. They just did the concept art on it. That's what that means.
What's a space whale? What would something like that be? Something this massive that would be in a gas giant like this? That's a many considerations for us to go over. You know what I mean? Even just from a technical side of how do we get something like that to be in the world where we can get all the way up closest thing and it's got all the detail on and everything. So that's a much bigger discussion, but very, very exciting thing to imagine going into. So, but early days on that, though, we're just in the concept phase. So we'll definitely have more in the future to show that's a little more towards something that you might actually see in game.
Okay. So we know that this is still early days through all of the fauna development. Whether this is something that we'll see this year or not,
time frame. Give us a time frame. Come on.
The pipelines are being built.
Come on.
It's too early to say when we're going to see our first fauna, but we start starting from space cows and then go into space whales. Do you have an idea what's next? Those seem very passive things. What can you tell us about what might
There you go,
next?
Jared.
I know exactly what's next. And
so share it with
these
us.
groups of animals are getting much more dangerous. I can tell you that. But they are already being concepted as we speak. So very exciting stuff. Definitely our worlds are going to get a little more dangerous. I can say that.
All right. Chance, thank you.
Give us more information, man, and give us a time frame. Get these things down on the planets right now. I have no more patience. Do it. No. I'm sorry. Just get it done.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on
Put
your
these
first
animals
Star
down on the
Citizen
planet.
video.
I
I'm
want to
sure
do
it
some
won't be the
hunting.
last. I'll let you go. Take care, man.
All right. Thanks very much.
And that brings this episode to a close. I want to thank Todd Pappy, Dave Haddock, and Chance Rao for taking their time to be here on the show with us this week, for calling all devs. I'm Jared Huckabee.
Okay. I do have some constructive criticism here. There should have been more type of concepts on the drawing board. This should have been a little bit longer, in my opinion. They should have showed quite a few more of the bugs, of the Boids, and of the beasts. But hey, I did get confirmation that the space whales will in fact be in Crusader, so I am very happy about that. I also am very happy that I got to chill out and do this right before I have to go up to Cleveland and see Christy. So I was glad that they actually announced this like 30 minutes before I had to go up there. Guys, if you like this, if you want more of it, please push that like button. Please help this channel grow. This community is great. We're calling a winner for our Cutlass Red on Sunday for our VIP patron members and our membership on YouTube. Consider pushing join. You get access to a special podcast. We've done 3 episodes. Gonna do a 4th. We're gonna do it in the club. We're gonna do it in the club with people. And that doesn't sound right. And we're going to have a good time. And we're going to ask you about 3.9 and what you think. We'll have that featured next week, so you guys can check that out. Guys, thank you. Bloopers tomorrow for Saturday. Tomorrow, check it out on the channel. We got some bloopers planned for you guys as well. And, like I said, if you guys like everything that you're seeing here on the channel, lots of content been flowing lately, then please push that like button. Please help me, this channel, and the community. Thanks, guys, for joining me here today. Really cool information here. We got a little bit. Would have liked to see a little bit more, though. A little bit more. I'm not the only one. Yep. See you guys. Don't worry. I'll keep in touch. Thanks, everybody, for joining me on the stream today. I had a blast.